Hi guys, this is a video, the introduction to health, and we're just doing the introduction to all things health and why we take health, why health is so important. So we're going to start off with exercise and recreation are as necessary as reading. I rather say more necessary because health is worth more than learning. And this is a quote by Thomas Jefferson. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I like to start off our quarter like this because I want you to understand that without your health, you are not going to be the best you that you can possibly be. You're not going to go to math and English and reading and be able to get the best grades if you are not feeling 100%. We want you to have 100% health so you can go into other areas of your life and do 100%. So this quote is just very telling and very real. So health is your combined physical, mental, emotional, and social. We know from the dimensions of wellness, it's a lot more than that, but that's just kind of the basics. It affects everything about you, how you feel, look, your attitude, your school performance, and your grades. Some basic influences are your heredity, which are your genetics or your genes that are passed down from generation to generation. Your environment that you live in can be both positive and negative, whether it's encouraging of exercise and mental wellness and that sort of thing, or if you live in an environment of smoking and alcohol and drugs and mental abuse, sexual abuse, that sort of thing, it can obviously be very negative. Peers, peer pressure, we all have a need to be accepted. And then our culture, what we come from, our values, our belief systems. And we're going to talk a lot about culture and our beliefs and our values as we go along, or getting you to understand what your values and beliefs are. So your wellness is your overall state of well-being, and it changes every single day depending on the choices that you make. So let's look at this. So in the 1900s, these are the causes of death for both teens and adults, so flu, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. People are not dying of these same things anymore. Yes, we have a random person dying of the flu or pneumonia or TB, but usually that's an older person or a younger person, a baby or an infant who has a compromised immune system. Maybe they have something else going in their body, they have another infection, and then on top of that they get the flu or pneumonia, and it is just too much for their body to battle. So that's why a person might die today of one of these things, but it's very unlikely that someone, I know our flu season was so horrible, but oftentimes these people did have other underlying infections going on in our body. So most of the time for the 1900s, these were infectious diseases, virus and bacteria that we had absolutely no control over for the time period. There were just no medicines. There just wasn't the technology that there is today. So for all ages, the leading causes of death today are heart disease, cancer, and stroke. And you can kind of see where everything else falls on down. So these are vastly different from the 1900s. So let's talk about these. Why are people dying? People are dying from unhealthy foods. They are dying from not managing stress. They are dying from overeating. They are not dying from these viruses and bacteria that were so uncontrollable that they were in the 1900s. We today are dying of things that we are doing to ourselves. These are totally controllable. It's the high fat, high calorie, high stress, not good sleep patterns and things like that that we are just not dealing with. So these things are totally controllable. These are our lifestyle choices that we are currently making. Now, if we talk about teens, they're different. They're not the same as overall. They are accidents, homicide, and suicide, and then kind of some other things down as we go. Some of them are not controllable, but accidents, homicide, and suicide, accidents, everybody immediately goes to drunk driving, drug overdoses, and things like that. But that can also be like riding your bike without a helmet, jumping into a pool and not knowing how deep it is and breaking your spinal column, doing silly things. We know kids are famous for doing silly things without thinking, and that unfortunately does have repercussions. Homicide, which is murder. Two big reasons why kids are murdered are gangs and drugs. And oftentimes those two things go hand in hand. And then suicide, of course, is taking one's own life. So again, these are not infectious diseases. These are not viruses and bacteria. These are our lifestyle choices. These are the things that we are doing or not doing that is harming our health and as a result causing early deaths. Lifestyle choices, guys. So what is the main cause for the deaths that occur today? The lifestyle choices, the way we are choosing to lead our lives, is causing our premature deaths. So what are the underlying causes of death in just 1 year? We've got tobacco use as being number one, poor diet, alcohol. Okay, so kind of crazy. Causes of cancer, number one, diet, tobacco. Of course, we have unknown causes, but then we also have sexual behaviors. What a lot of people don't understand is that being sexually active with multiple partners can put them at risk for specific cancers. Okay, so risk factors. Risk factors are things, are choices that we do that put our health at risk. Okay, so here's a bunch of them. I'm going to go through the top ones. So what are the ones that are specifically the top 3 that people are doing that causing the worst effect on their health? Number 1 is smoking. Number 2 is poor diet. And number 3 is sedentary lifestyle, which is being inactive. I call it a couch potato. You're the kid who never moves off, or an adult who never moves off the couch. You come home and it's plop it on the couch and watching TV until it's time for dinner, eat dinner, and you plop it on down, and then it's right up to bed and there's no physical movement at all. Just totally sedative. So recommended lifestyle behaviors or factors are things that we want you to do that will improve your health. So here are some things. We want you to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. Your brain only grows while you're sleeping, and it only grows for kids until the early 20s. Men, it's like 25. Women, it's a little less than that. So you need to go to sleep. 7 to 9 hours is recommended. Do not use tobacco or alcohol product or tobacco, like chew tobacco or spit products. Limit alcohol, don't do drugs, obviously. No drinking and driving. Exercise. This is very minimum, like super minimum. The CDC is now recommending 60 minutes every day, at very minimum 3 to 4 times a week, at least 30 minutes each time. Eat breakfast. Your body needs the fuel to get up and going in the morning, so let's give it a nice healthy start. Some fruits, some veggies, maybe a whole grain, something to get you up and going. Eat a variety of the food groups every single day. Try and get a couple veggies on your plate at every meal. Don't make them starchy vegetables. Potatoes don't count, guys. So make them different colors. We really want to see a rainbow of colors on your plates every single day. Maintain a healthy weight. Really deal with your stress. We all have stress in our lives. It's how we deal with our stress that makes a huge difference. And as we go on through our course, we are going to talk a lot about stress management skills. Okay, so life expectancy. So as we are talking about life and death here, we need to also talk about life expectancy, which is the number of years a person is expected to live. And you can kind of see here, and it's slowly creeping up. I'm now seeing numbers into the early 80s. So ladies, you're like 80, I'm thinking like 81, 82. I'm going to have to check my numbers. And men, you're creeping up, but you're still about 4 to 5 years below women. Okay, so my question is, why do women live longer than men? Number 1, women go to the doctor more often. Every time a woman has a pain, I don't feel good, she's taking herself to the doctor and she's getting treated for those symptoms and possible like life, altering cancers and heart diseases and things like that much sooner. So if you catch cancer at stage 1 for a lady and you catch the same cancer in a guy at stage 3 or 4, obviously the lady who has caught it at a stage 1 is going to have much better response to treatment. So go to the doctor, gentlemen, and encourage those men in your life to go to the doctor. Number 2, there is more funding for women's related issues. So we all have heard and probably participated in an event for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is in October. But when is Prostate Awareness month. We have no idea. We have no idea when a lot of the men's cancers, men's specific cancers are, when their months are, where are their charities. We just don't have them. They're not well known. We don't talk about them. And as a result, we're just not getting the cures like we are, or the development in treatments like we are for women's cancers. And then very lastly, men, you have a hormone in you called testosterone. That's what makes men men. And that puts you at an increased risk of heart disease. And we know that heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death among men, or among all people. So if you are already at a higher risk of heart disease just because you're a man, because of the hormones that you have, you need to take that into consideration and make some other modifications in your life as a result. So, being health literate, you can kind of read this on your own, but just being educated in general about your health and being aware of what you can do to be more educated and more informed as a as an educated consumer, I think is really important. So I am done with this. You should have completed your Cornell notes along with me in your packets. If you have any questions, make sure you go back. You can always rewind this video and pause it and go back and watch it again. Who wouldn't want to hear Miss Stella say this all again 10, 15, 20 times? So please make sure that you have your notes done and you are ready and prepared in class. Have a great rest of your day, guys.